Hi, I'm Diana Kokoska, and welcome back to Power Up with MAPS. In fact, today with me, I have Marvin Alexander, an OP candidate up in Toronto or?
Toronto area, that's right.
Toronto area. I knew you were from Canada and just didn't know exactly where you were, which province.
No trouble.
So I'm so excited to be with you today, and you're saying, okay, what is an OP going to teach me, an agent, about Power Hour? Well, you've made calls your entire life because you've been a great mega agent.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Yes, that's true.
So how many homes are you selling out there?
I oversee approximately 340 sales per year.
340 sales.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit, okay? So maybe you can learn from him. Take notes. This is great.
All right.
So what's important about selling, Marvin?
There's so many aspects to it, but one of the things I think that's imperative is to listen to what your client's needs are.
Listen to what our clients' needs are. So knowing scripts would help us to listen, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. And what else might be important in the process of selling?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. No. It's really it's important to understand what somebody really truly wants to accomplish, the motivation for their move, and understand a bit of their family circumstances, perhaps. So asking the right questions and listening to the answers are very important steps.
So asking questions, listening to the answers. So as you're calling today, make certain that you're asking questions, listening to the answers, writing them down, and then approving of whatever they say. So give me some questions that maybe they could ask for sell by owners or expireds or maybe even their past clients.
For sure. Which one would you like to do first?
Let's do for sell by owners.
Okay, and that's always a tough one for people, and I understand that. And 17 years ago, when I started in the business, I targeted a lot of for sale by owners. And to me, it's very important to just establish an appointment.
Okay.
And the way you can do that is by asking questions. So often I ask why they're interested in moving, the motivation for their move, and explain to them that the benefits of maybe having an appointment. So that starts with, why are you trying to sell your house privately? And whatever answer they give, it's not that difficult to come up with an objection, because from my perspective, if they're worried about saving money, which is usually the question for sale by owners, you have to show them that they will actually net out more money using you as a realtor than they would trying to sell on their own privately. And that usually gets their attention. So are you more interested in potentially saving money, or are you more interested in actually netting out more money? Because I can show you how you'll actually get more money, have the benefits of my services, avoid all the legal ramifications of trying to sell yourself, and that sort of thing. So the questions will lead you to an appointment, which is what you're ultimately trying to do. Right?
Okay, now, Marvin, I know that they're going to net more by doing business with a realtor, and you know that too.
Right.
How do our viewers know that? So if you'll just talk to them like they're the seller and say what you would say to Mr. or Mrs. Seller about how they're going to net more using you.
No trouble.
Okay,
well,
excellent.
The first thing you have to do is establish how much your house is actually worth. And homeowners often are subjective, so they choose numbers that aren't necessarily realistic. So what I explain is it starts with an appointment. So I can come out and take a look at your home and evaluate the improvements that you've done and evaluate market value. And you know what? There's no risk to you. I'm not looking for a listing. I'm not looking for any commitment from you in writing. All I want to do is see your home. I want to see what great improvements you've made, and I want to come back and help you realize the value. And if for anything else, if you don't even choose to list with me, at least you'll have a professional come in and give you an idea of value. So you can establish whether or not your value is correct. But sometimes you might be asking too much. It happens. But often, maybe you're not asking enough. I know that sounds odd, but that's essentially what you should say. You come in, you get the appointment, you develop a rapport, you ask the right questions, you listen to why they want to move, and it will just naturally progress to the next step. Don't look for the listing on the phone. That's not what this is about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny how some people think that their hand is going to come through the phone and sign the contract.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
It just doesn't happen. So
get an appointment.
Get an appointment is really what you want to accomplish. That's what prospecting is. It's not about getting the listing on the phone. Because anybody that's going to list with you on the phone is probably not going to be the best client. The client you're going to get by rapport, by getting an appointment, by developing all of those things. And that only happens in person, right?
Right. So how many times did you have to ask for an appointment? I mean, did you ask one time and they go, yeah, come right on over?
Well, I was so charming that, yes, that did happen. No, you know what? You have to be somewhat thick-skinned. There's no doubt about it. But My philosophy was I would try to have less calls and
Okay.
make them good calls. And if somebody says no and they hang up on you, then you just don't let that bring you in a downward spiral. You need
Right.
to concentrate on what you're doing and go on to the next call and still be happy and still be upbeat. Because people want to associate with people that are like that, right?
Isn't that amazing? Negative people, or people that think negatively, think that people are going to say, "Oh, I want to be around
Right,
you,"
right.
and yet that high energy, enthusiastic person that comes on the phone is like, "Okay, you're drawn to them."
For sure. And
Yeah.
and you know what? You don't realize it when you're on the phone, but that perception is so clear over the phone. So if you're having a bad day, it comes across. If you're frowning or uncomfortable where you're sitting or making calls in a noisy environment where you can't, be vocal and be energetic, it's just not going to work. So find a nice environment where you can get up, walk around, be enthusiastic about the call, and really be in the mindset that you are helping these people. You're not just phoning to get a listing to ultimately get money. You need to concentrate on their needs first, and the money will follow after that.
So come from contribution, and everything else will follow.
Perfect analogy.
Okay, so I'm having a bad day.
I'm sorry.
I
thought it was
don't
going
want-
well. Until you met me, it was going so well.
I just really having a bad day. I don't want to pick up the phone.
Right.
What do I do to get myself, knowing that it's my job, to pick up that phone and be energetic? I mean, what did you do when the days that you didn't feel like it?
Well, this might not be the answer you're looking for, but it's my answer. There's different levels of prospecting. So there's some days where maybe you don't feel like picking up the phone.
Uh-huh.
There's nothing wrong with door knocking or doing alternative methods of prospecting. So it doesn't always have to be the same thing. And from my perspective, after doing this for quite some time, is everybody has their own thing.
Right.
And what may work for me may not necessarily work for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to find out what your niche is. You need to find out what works for you. And the only way you can do that is by giving each element of prospecting a try.
Right.
It's not new technology. It's nothing, we're not reinventing the wheel. You're just taking that wheel and inflating it a different way so it works for you, right? And that's kind of what it is. So
Right.
if you don't feel like calling that day, there's nothing wrong with going out and door knocking or phoning past clients, doing that sort of thing, because they're all forms of prospecting, right?
Perfect. We so appreciate you being with us today.
My pleasure.
And we want you to go out right now. Pick up the phones. If you're not feeling like it, do some jumping jacks or high five everybody out there, but pick up those phones and make the appointments.
Perfect.
Marlon, thank you so much
My
for
pleasure.
being with us
Thank
today.
you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.